Welcome back to the Genuine Ginger Experience. I am your hostess, Mackenzie Quintana, and I am excited to be here. I felt a little bit bad, I guess, not bad, but I've wanted to do another episode. I know last time I said I was just going to kind of do it when I felt like there was something that I really wanted to share with you, but I've really wanted to still talk with you, but I haven't really had any huge insightful thing to share with you. And so I've just kind of been in this oh, I don't really know for sure what to talk about. And yesterday I was going through my bookshelf in my office, and I came across a notebook that I'm sure I had really good intentions about journaling in, from what it looks like. And I think I got anyways, there's 18 pages written in it, and then the rest is blank. So, good intentions. But I opened it and just kind of had this moment of oh, cute, because it was some things that I wrote down when I first started my journey, which I know that term journey is I don't know, cliche or overused or whatever. But I don't really know how else to explain it. I feel there was a point up until about 4 years ago, my life was just kind of what it was, and I just lived my life, and I lived my life based on what how it came to me. I feel probably 80 or 98% of the population lives that way, right? Where we just, what's today gonna bring, and that's how we live our life. Or we live our life, we react to the circumstances around us, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, and then about 4 years ago, I kind of started realizing oh, I can actually choose though how I want to react to my circumstances, and I can actually have a say in how I want my life to look and what I want to experience in my life and how I want to feel and all the things, which we've talked about already. Anyways, and so that's been my journey, is learning all of these different things, right? And so anyways, what I want to share with you today, because I feel who I'm speaking to, who I desire to speak to, is maybe those of you who are just starting out on that journey. Maybe you're not even on that journey yet. Maybe you're several years into it. Maybe you're farther along than I am. I don't know. Either way, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm sure that this can be useful and helpful for all of us, because it was a good reminder for me to see these things that I had written down. And so hopefully today will just be really great. And I'm probably going to have a couple episodes where we go over these things that I wrote down, because there's several. So, and I don't want these to be super long. So, this is, from what I can tell from what I wrote, this is, like I said, early 2020. I don't know for sure what, just probably, I don't know, first couple months of 2020, before May of 2020. I know that for sure. Sometime in the first part of 2020. I must have taken a course, or started listening to podcasts from Jody Moore. And I know I've shared about Jody Moore before. Her podcast is called Better Than Happy. At least it used to be. I haven't honestly listened to it in a while, but I think I shared with you in the first couple episodes that it was a major influential thing in my life to listen to her podcast, and learn from her. And so highly recommend her. So she, all of this today, I'm assuming is from her. So take it from her. These are just thoughts to try on. Is what I have written down. That's what this is titled, is thoughts to try on. And so I think they're from her. And so we're just gonna kind of go through them, and if I have something to say about them, then I will. If not, I'll just keep reading them. So these are thoughts to try on. Remember, our thoughts are not fact. We've talked about that before. Our thoughts are simply observations. They are things that we have observed and come to maybe make mean fact, but they're actually not necessarily a fact. So we can acknowledge them and without judgment, and observe them and be curious about them and try to understand them. And if we want to, we can deliberately choose new thoughts, and we can kind of like try on new thoughts, like just like clothes, like just let's try on this thought and see how it feels, see how it makes me feel, see how it settles in to my body and settles into my life and the life that I want to create, right? And so these are some thoughts to try on. And the first one is, there are no rules. And I have underneath written, I don't have to make dinner. Which I think that was like a big moment for me to realize, like, that's actually not something that I like under court of law am required to do, is to make dinner. Like, I don't have to do that. That's not a rule. I probably made it a rule at some point in my life. But what if there are no rules? What if I could just choose to make dinner? And how different does choosing to make dinner feel than having to make dinner? I have to make dinner. It's like, I have to make dinner, versus I'm choosing to make dinner for my family, right? And so like that can go for anything. I choose to get up and go to the gym. I choose to not eat a giant bag full of chocolate. I choose to homeschool my kids. That is actually a choice that I made. Definitely not a rule. So like that one can, I feel like that simple thought, there are no rules, could literally, like that thought alone could just blow your mind apart and like completely change the way that you live your life with like questioning everything, right? Like what if you actually don't have to have a 9-to-5 job? Like, what if that's not actually a rule? What if there was another way to make an income? What if, like, just like anything at all, the sky's the limit. What if it's not a rule? What if you don't have to do that? What if it's a choice? Or what if there's actually something, a different option that you could choose, right? So there are no rules. That was the first thought. Yes, this is definitely going to be a couple of episodes, which is great. I'm excited to have go-to topics for the next few episodes. The next thought to try on, which I have loved this one. I have used this one and stuck with it. It's not always easy to remember it, but I try to, and that is, everything is figure outable. And I've heard that from several different mentors that I've worked with and listened to. Everything is figure outable. And that actually reminds me of something that I had thought of sharing on here and I forgot now, but at one point it did come up in the last week or two of like, oh, that could be a podcast topic. And so we're going to tangent here into everything is figure outable. And what I recently, when I was talking to a friend and I was sharing, we were discussing a problem apparently, and she said, which I had heard this before. This was from a mentor that we had both worked with, and I'm sure my mentor heard it from somewhere else. But she said, "You right now you're in the energy of the problem, and so all you're gonna see is the problem. You need to put yourself in the energy of the solution." And that may sound like woo-woo, but basically that means like, if all I'm doing is focusing on the problem and but that, and I can't do this, and this doesn't work, and I don't know how to do this, and this, and like, that's all my mind is going to see, right? That's what you focus on is what you get more of. What you set your mind to looking at is that's what you're going to get. And so if you want to solve a problem, you have to get yourself in the mind of the solution. And that looks like, if I knew how to do this, what could it look like? If I just use this with, so I'm a part of a company called Saint Makeup. I think I've shared that on here before. And I have a team, and a team of women that I coach and mentor through this business. And I try to help them, with any aspect of their life that they want help with. And, but I had a couple girls tell me that they were struggling with making time for their business. And so I coached them with this, and I basically said this, like, right now you're in you're in the energy of the problem. You're in, I don't have time. I got to do this and this and this. And then I have to go to this. And so I don't have time to run my business. And then you're like, there's just not enough time. And so that's all your mind is looking for. You need to put yourself in the energy of the solution. If you had time, what could that look like? What could your schedule look like if you had enough time? What could you get done if you had enough time? Just open up your mind to the solution, to the possibilities. And as you start thinking that way, if there was a solution, if I knew how to solve this problem, if I knew what to do, what could that look like? What could it be? And then you start getting yourself into the ideas and the options and the possibilities of the solution. So, little tangent there. I hope that was helpful. Everything is figure outable. There is a solution to everything. And side note, Heavenly Father already has it figured out. So we just have to follow his lead. Like, we just have to come to him and say, help me, guide me. You know what this looks like for me. You know how to get me past this point that I can't see. So help me, guide me. And he already has a solution. We just have to step into that faith and that trust in him and just try, right? So everything is figure outable. My goodness, we'll do like one or two more and then I guess we'll stop it. I'm wanting this to be like 15, 20 minutes. So, okay, the next thing that I wrote down is, I don't have to know how. I just have to know that it will. I don't have to know how. I just have to know that it will be. And I feel like this kind of ties into the last one, right? Like, I don't have to know how I'm going to make it work. I don't have to know how this problem is going to be solved. I just have to know. I just get to know, and I get to trust that there is a solution, that it will be solved, that whatever I want will happen. I don't have to know how. And I feel like, I think I've talked about that in past episodes, that the how that's God's job. His job is to know how to do things. Our job, his job is how and when, because his timing is perfect, right? Our job is to know what we want and why we want it. And so I don't have to know how. I just have to know that it will be. I just have to have the faith and the trust in God and in the universe and whatever power that you believe in, that it will be, right? That it is going to happen. There is a solution. I don't have to know how. I just have to trust. And the next step then would be take an action towards something that will help bring what you want, or will help move you toward what you want, or will help solve the problem, right? The next thing that I wrote down, the next thought to try on is, I can spend my mind juice however I want, and I want to spend it wisely. And I feel like I remember the example being used of Steve Jobs and how he just wears the same clothes like every day. Like, he just has like the same shirt in his closet, and how like he said that he didn't want to use his mind juice on deciding what to wear. There were more important things for him, in his mind, and that he didn't care about what he wanted to wear. He didn't want to use his mind juice on that, right? We all have, I wouldn't say a limited amount of mind juice. That sounds scarce, right? But we have limits. I guess that's truth, right? We have limits. And so our mind gets tired of thinking after a while, right? Like, we're human. And so we have like mind juice is what she calls it. And so you get to choose what to use your mind juice on. And I know for me, before, I spent a lot of my mind juice on complaining, on thinking about how boring my life was, thinking about how I didn't feel fulfilled. Well, I didn't really think that, but I just felt blah. And I also would use it a lot on like judging other people. I would on social media or whatever, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, why is she wearing that? Doesn't she know that it looks weird or it's like out of date or whatever? You know, like I know that sounds terrible. I don't remember if I thought that, but I did. I'm sure I judged people. I mean, I still do. I'm human, right? But that is something that I am consciously trying to choose to not use my brain juice on. I don't want to use my brain juice on thinking about other people and judging other people that way, right? I want to use my brain juice on good thoughts, on how I can be a better person, on how I can improve my life and my family's life, on the beautiful things that God has given me, and just uplifting things, right? I don't want to use my mind juice on thoughts that are going to keep me in the gutter, that are going to keep me feeling down, that are going to, I think we've talked about a suffering state and a beautiful state, right? And so it's just choosing my mind juice wisely, choosing to use my mind juice wisely. And I think we're gonna stop there. Because I think it looks like the next couple ones I could kind of take a deep dive into if I wanted to. So maybe we'll save that for next one. And I have four pages of this. I think, no, maybe just three. Yeah, 3 pages of this, and we got about halfway through the first one. So, so this is fun though. I hope that this was useful for you today. It was good for me to just kind of refresh my mind on these simple yet really profound thoughts to try on. So, let me know how you liked these, what thoughts or insights or ahas that you might have had. You can message me. I'm on social media. the.genuine.ginger is my Instagram, and then on Facebook I'm Mackenzie Quintana, and what else? I guess that's all of my socials. Or there's my website, thegenuineginger.com, where there's like a little section at the bottom where you can send comments, or you can leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to or whatever. Like, just, I would love to hear from you, however that looks like for you. I'd love to hear if and how this helped you. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you later.